Hi, everyone. It's Dr. Arlene Diamco, the MultiDimensional MD. My mission is to help bring the intuitive spirit back to medicine in practical and tangible ways so that we can access deeper healing and experience more peace, love, and joy in our everyday lives. Now, you've seen my other podcast episodes, and sometimes I'm looking at big picture and sometimes I'm looking at the micro. So I like to weave that in and out. Listening to people's concerns recently, there's been some questions about Tylenol. So I thought I would do a brief review on Tylenol, give you my perspective on it, and go over what all the fuss is about. So in this episode, I'm going to go over what Tylenol is, what medications contain Tylenol, or some of them, what all the fuss is about, do you need glutathione for? Is fever bad? Can you take Tylenol safely? Who should avoid Tylenol? What are signs of Tylenol toxicity? Can Tylenol cause autism? And what can you do if you have a fever? So let's get started with the beginning. What is Tylenol? Tylenol is the brand name for a drug called acetaminophen. It is also known as paracetamol internationally, and it can be found in many different medications, not just Tylenol. It can be found in Excedrin, Midol, Dayquil, NyQuil, Goody's powder, Feverol, which is marketed for children's fevers, and some Robitussin formulations, as well as some prescription medications such as Percocet. And there can be other brands that contain Tylenol as well, or acetaminophen. Tylenol is the brand name. So acetaminophen is used to reduce pain and fever via a mechanism that is not completely understood. So that's interesting. It is thought to act on the central nervous system, the CNS, the centers there controlling fever and pain perception. Acetaminophen is not the same as ibuprofen. It is not an anti-inflammatory. Ibuprofen, Motrin, Advil, those are anti-inflammatories. Tylenol, it does not reduce inflammation. It is not what is called an NSAID, or a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug. That is ibuprofen and other medications. Tylenol is in its own class. So what is all the fuss about in terms of Tylenol? Tylenol, or acetaminophen, has to be processed and broken down by the liver. So one of those pathways breaks Tylenol down into toxic metabolite that must be neutralized by glutathione. Glutathione is our body's major antioxidant. So Tylenol use can deplete the body's supply of glutathione. What do you need glutathione for? So as I said, remember, glutathione is our body's major antioxidant. Antioxidants are needed to neutralize free radicals and decrease oxidative stress. In doing so, antioxidants will help delay the aging process and protect cognitive functioning and keep a lot of other things from going awry. Glutathione is also an important part of the body's detoxification system, as are the antioxidants. It helps with cellular repair, including DNA repair. It helps with protein repair, and also protects the liver and helps to ward off illness. So it is involved in many different functions in the body. Is fever bad? Not typically. Fever is your body's way to fight off an illness, especially those infectious diseases. It isn't inherently bad, but you won't feel good when your temperature is up. You'll often feel achy, you might have a headache, you'll feel run down or fatigued. In vulnerable populations such as young infants, the elderly, or immunocompromised individuals, it's important to evaluate a fever immediately, since it is a sign of illness and you want to get to the bottom of that. For everyone, high fevers say 103 or even 104 or above, or prolonged fevers for more than 3 days need to be evaluated. Again, more to see like what is causing it, is there a process that needs attention immediately? It is a sign that something else is going on. So the fever itself is not inherently bad unless you get to the extremely high fevers, but we're talking about 105.8 and above degrees Fahrenheit. And I mean, even at 105, I've seen many children with 105 fevers still walking around and acting like they're okay. If an adult had a temperature of 103 or above, they would not be wanting to get out of bed. So kids tend to handle fevers a lot better. And again, the fever itself is not inherently bad, but does require some investigation, especially in vulnerable populations, or if it's high, or if it's been going on for more than a few days. Can you take Tylenol safely? If you need to take Tylenol, and I'll leave that between you and your healthcare professional, then it is important to support your liver and glutathione levels. Again, Tylenol will start to deplete glutathione levels unless you have a source for helping your body make more glutathione. You need the ingredients for it, and if you're not eating very well, then your nutrition status will just keep going down, down, down. And the Tylenol will be worsening your antioxidant levels of glutathione. So to support glutathione levels, you can do this by eating nutritious sulfur-rich foods like broccoli, kale, cabbage, onion, and garlic. Foods with vitamin C and other antioxidants such as citrus and berries can also be helpful. You could supplement with vitamin C or an acetylcysteine, which is one of the components to make glutathione. It's an amino acid, and glutathione needs those ingredients to able to so that your body can make more glutathione. So again, talk to your healthcare practitioner for formulations and dosages that are right for you. Avoiding alcohol consumption will also be key because your liver also needs to process alcohol. And if you have more than one thing that your liver needs to tend to in a really direct way, then you're going to be more vulnerable. It can't do too many things. It can't be bothered with trying to detoxify your body with too many things at once. If you have any issues of excess alcohol, then it's best to avoid Tylenol unless you're sure you have good liver function. Castor oil liver packs can also be supportive, but they're not going to be a replacement for good nutrition, avoidance of alcohol, and taking good supplements if you need to. So, who should avoid Tylenol? So, do not use with alcohol at the same time as alcohol or with any excess alcohol use. Your liver is already going to be occupied. Don't use it if you have liver disease or kidney disease. Of course, if you have any known allergy to Tylenol, there's some caution in pregnant women. Less is more. Don't take any unnecessary medications when you're pregnant. So unless you have to, and that's between you and your OBGYN. Some caution if you're fighting off any illness. It's not because you need your antioxidants to be able to fight off illness. If you have any viral process or any other infectious disease or anything that is requiring more antioxidants in your body, then you will need all the glutathione that your body has. Again, caution for prolonged use, and for adults, don't take more than 3,000 milligrams a day. Now, what are some signs of Tylenol toxicity? Now, Tylenol toxicity is not always immediate. Often it shows up 12 hours or more after Tylenol is ingested. And if you take Tylenol, even safe doses over a long period of time, then that can build up over time, depleting your glutathione over time. And so signs and symptoms may be more insidious. So here's a list of signs of acute Tylenol toxicity. Those can include abdominal pain, nausea, upset stomach, loss of appetite, um, loss of decrease in consciousness, seizures, diarrhea, irritability, yellowing of the skin, or jaundice. Again, your liver is affected if you have excess Tylenol or prolonged Tylenol use. If you have signs of that, then you need to get that evaluated right away. Vomiting, sweating, and again, NAC is an important medication in the emergency room to address Tylenol toxicity. I talked about it in terms of as a supplement and acetylcysteine that you could use to support your liver and to support your glutathione levels because you need cysteine to create glutathione. But in the emergency room, they actually use NAC as a medication to address Tylenol toxicity. And again, in prolonged use, then make sure that you have this on your radar because the signs and symptoms of Tylenol toxicity can be more insidious in nature. Can Tylenol cause autism? So this is the big question that people are been talking about recently. Autism spectrum disorder has a myriad of etiologies, and has more than one contributing factor, including but not limited to genetic issues, including methylation issues, environmental factors and toxicities, mitochondrial issues, and nutritional deficiencies, food intolerances, and gut imbalances. So, could Tylenol contribute to autism? Just like many of these other factors, yes, possibly. Many things can. So, can the food we eat, the world we live in, the stress that we're under? Not everyone that has had Tylenol has autism, and not everyone that has had autism has had Tylenol. So, what can you do if you have a fever? Um, you know, and personally, I have not used Tylenol in my family when anyone has had a fever, because I understand that fever in itself is not inherently bad. It is the body's natural way to help fight off illness. And so blocking the fever is not always in your best interest. Now, if you're feeling really crummy and you just want to take the edge off, then yes, there are things that you can do to help bring the fever down and just provide more comfort. But it's not to get over the illness faster. It's more for comfort. And there's other things that you can give besides Tylenol. A simple salt bath can do wonders, especially if it's just a mild fever. The minerals in the salt can help with the achiness that tends to accompany the fevers. For low grade fevers, you can use chamomile, peppermint, catnip, lavender. Those are really common ones that herbalists use for kids. So they're very gentle and safe to use. There's different kinds of fever. So when we're talking about the energetics of fever, Ayurvedics addresses this, traditional Chinese medicine addresses this, but in our Western medicine, we don't always talk about the energetics of a fever because there's different ways you can feel when you have a fever. Some fevers you feel really hot and sweaty. Other fevers you can feel cold even though your temperature is up. So if you feel chilly with a fever, then taking warming herbs that also help to balance your temperature can be helpful. So these include ginger, turmeric, and garlic. These can both reduce the fever and help you feel warmer at the same time. Ginger is one of my go-to remedies because I tend to be more on the cold side, feeling colder, and I need things to help warm me up. There are also homeopathic remedies that can be helpful, but they need to be prescribed more specifically to work really well. There's a lot more details to the homeopathic remedies. So this is just a really quick review of Tylenol, and I hope that has been helpful for you in some way just to have a better picture of what is Tylenol, what is it used for, why are people concerned about it, um, and can it be used safely? There's not always a one size fits all answer to these questions. And your situation, what you're going through, what you're experiencing, the type of illness, other risk factors are also needed to be taken into consideration. And if you're aware of those things, then that knowledge can help to empower you to make wise choices. And so if you're confused, then definitely have conversations about this. There's no reason for all of us to fight each other about it. It's not meant to be a an area of divisiveness. It's more an area that we can have enriched dialogues about, because there's there's so many variations in responses and so many variations in terms of how we can address things. And again, it's not one size fits all. So I hope that helps you in understanding Tylenol better. And if you have any other questions, then I am here for you at All Worlds Health. You can also, if you have general questions, you can also drop them in the comments and I'll see if I can get back to them. If you'd like to connect with me further, you can at All Worlds Health on Instagram, on Facebook, All Worlds Health and Pediatrics. And you can also sign up for my love letters. I send them out via email about once a week or every other week on Wednesdays. And you can do that at allworldshealth.com. Lots of love to all of you, and I'll see you next time.